94,000 euros for country house in southern Spain. Sounds like an unbelievable deal until you read the details. No bathroom, parts of the upstairs with only about 1,60 m of ceiling height, visible cracks in the listing, possible moisture issues, risk factors and some seriously poor windows or no windows at all. So let's audit this properly. In case 1, we're looking at a rural house near Almogía, Málaga, listed around 94,000 euros. And I will show you exactly what you get for that price and even more importantly, what you maybe don't get, while we track the red flags and decide whether if it's buyable in the end. You will also get a renovation cost estimate, a short conclusion and a small bonus check on whether this could work as a rental Airbnb. But first, let's jump into the listing. At a quick glance, the facade looks decent. The outer area looks pleasant. It needs a bit of maintenance, but nothing dramatic. And from the photos, the exterior walls seem okay overall. We have to assume that this is an used older object, which for sure can't be perfect. The first potential downside is the terrain in front of the house. Those hills or mountains could reduce sunlight, especially later in the day. So even though the plot looks nice, we should keep that in mind and verify it on Google Maps. I found the property on Google Maps, and when we switch from 2D to 3D, you can clearly see the higher ground. Depending on the exact orientation, that can mean less evening sun or even less daylight overall in some seasons. For me, that's not an automatic red flag, but it's a personal deal factor. Also, what looks like a road nearby could be a dry stream bed, which matters because heavy rainfall can turn those areas into flood path. So we will keep that on our checklist. The listing includes a virtual tour, so let's use it to zoom in on the details. I can already see minor potential exterior damage and a small crack on the side. So I would plan a modest facade touch-up in the next few years, roughly for around about 2,000 euros. If you can do some work yourself, then let's step inside. Inside, you've got a large living or dining area, but there's basically only one window in that space, which could likely make it feel darker than you would expect it. On top of that, the flooring shows wear and some cracking, so a floor refresh should be part of the plan. Next, possible humidity. This is the kind of thing you must measure during a viewing, and a simple moisture meter, often for around about 30 euros online or in a local store, is worth every cent because it gives you a quick practical indicator on walls and ceilings. Also notice windows here. Some openings look more like wooden shutters or boards than proper insulated windows. So I would budget for replacing windows throughout the house rather than hoping this is an acceptable long term. Also, you have to keep in mind that we don't have any energy certificate for this object, which could be also a major red flag, which should be checked from an expert. A quick practical tip: if you do a viewing, ask whether furniture can be moved aside in key corners so you can inspect walls and floors properly. Now into the kitchen. Nothing major jumps out, but I'm immediately suspicious of one of the corner area. The placement of the fridge looked like it might, not on purpose, be hiding something. But that wall edge doesn't look normal at all. So during a viewing, you should inspect that corner closely because it could indicate moisture or a previous batch. But it also can be okay for sure. In the first bedroom, the oval room could be fine, but the floor condition looks rough and the ceiling work around the base area suggests someone tried to solve humidity cosmetically. At this point, I'm moving the red flag meter into a deeper orange. You should check that on site because we are only seeing what the picture shows to us. So you should check this very carefully on site. If you view this place, measure moisture properly. Also note small but real livability constraints like door height. Here it's about 1,83 m, so taller people will feel that immediately. But now let's go upstairs. The staircase looks okay at first glance, but I do see indicators that could point to humidity issues near the roof area, which is always something to treat seriously because roof-related problems can get expensive very quickly. Here is another concern. A crack with a zigzag pattern can sometimes suggest structural movement rather than simple surface plaster issues. So I'm flagging it as something you would want a professional opinion on before committing. The rooms upstairs are usable, but be careful with ceiling heights. Doors around 2.5 meters are fine, yet parts of the space drop roughly to 1.60 meters. And if you plan to add partitions for more rooms, you will lose even more usable height. In general, there are some nice sleeping rooms, and if you remove furniture, you can better imagine the layout. There is also a chimney coming up from the kitchen area, which can help a bit in the winter. But remember, the house doesn't appear to have a real heating system, so in the winter time, you maybe are forced to heat with the wooden oven. For summer, it could still be a charming countryside place and potentially a small rental project if renovated properly. If you like this format, subscribe and tell me in the comments which listing I should review next, because now we hit the first major red flag. The floor plan shows no bathroom at all. That means you should budget for creating a full bathroom, and the best location depends on plumbing routes. You could convert part of ground floor bedroom near the kitchen to keep pipe runs simpler, or you could sacrifice space upstairs. But either way, you're trading usable square meters for basic functionality. Also, you can optimize the first floor by adding a small hallway to create 3 separate bedrooms, but that costs space too. Next red flag, and this one is serious according to the listing. The property is not registered in a land registry, which means it's typically not mortgageable. And while the ad suggests it can be registered via a special first registration process, you absolutely need a lawyer and a notary to confirm the path is real and legal. Otherwise, you risk buying something that can't be properly legalized, often involving 2 notarized purchase deeds at least a year apart. Let's talk about pricing. The asking price is around 94,000 euros. And in many cases, you may negotiate roughly 10% or sometimes more. But don't focus only on the sticker price, because purchase costs add up. Property transfer tax, often quoted around 7% in the listing context, notary fees, land registry fees, possible agent fees, and a lawyer for legal checks. So your all-in acquire number can land round about 95 to nearly 100,000 euros. Now the renovation budget. Smaller exterior fixes are manageable. Windows look like an immediate must-do for around 7,000 euros. Flooring can be refreshed around 1,500 euros for materials, and if you do it by yourself. Potential humidity remediation could be significant, up to 10,000 euro, but only if confirmed. A new kitchen is optional, but even a basic upgrade can start around 5,000 euros. Roof fixes are a big depends. Adding partitions or drywalls upstairs might be around about 2,000 euros, and the bathroom is mandatory roughly for around about 12,000 euros or more. So you're looking at a minimal all-in for around 116,000 euros and a more realistic max of the planned list for around 155,000 euros before you even talk about making it feel truly modern. And if you want to be finished home to look genuinely updated, not just fixed, you might easily add another 80 to 100 grand on top of that, depending on finishes and how many surprises show up once the walls and floors are opened. Now we are doing the quick Airbnb check. We're using AirDNA market estimates. You will see lots of luxury comparables with highly nightly rates, but this property won't compete at that level without serious renovation. Realistically, you might be closer to 50 to 70 euros per night, depending on the season. And if you manage a projected gross around 12,000 euros per year, you still need to subtract operating costs like cleaning, laundry, for example, 2,000 euros per year, and then consider the taxes. So you may end up around 10k net before tax in a decent scenario. The rental occupancy rate over the course of the year was assumed to be planned at 40%. So overall, it's not highly profitable at this point. Over a long horizon, say 10 years, guests could effectively pay back a large part of the purchase price, but this only works if their legal status is clean and you can renovate efficiently. For me, this listing is mainly for people who can do a lot of the work by themselves and to verify the legal registration path 100% before buying. Overall, I would approach this with a total budget of roughly 120 to 160,000 euros, including the necessary renovations. And if your goal is a genuinely high quality like new end result, you could be looking at 250 to 300k, depending on scope and extras like pool related work. I hope you enjoyed this audit. Subscribe if you want more and tell me which object I should check next. So please drop your next listing suggestions in the comments and I will see you in the next video.